Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fridays with Sandy. That would be Sandy Kreisberg, the founder of hbsguru.com. He is here
Howdy, folks.
in
Howdy,
Boston
howdy, howdy.
to evaluate a senior software engineer who works for a small kind of boutique startup in software engineering in Connecticut. He has, and this is going to raise some eyebrows, a 2.5 GPA from Osmanian University, which is a university in southern India in Hyderabad. But at the same time, he has a 760 GMAT, which will also raise eyebrows. He is aiming for a part-time MBA program, not full-time, at either Duke, Chicago, Kellogg, or Carnegie Mellon. Welcome.
Hey, Sandy. Hey, hey, John.
Hi,
It's nice to meet you guys.
Let's deal with you've got a powerful story, and part-time programs are easier to get into. The only boo-boo here is the 2.5 GPA. How you going to, what is that, and how you going to explain that?
I think that, well, to be honest, for the first couple of years, I did slack off a little, to be straight out. And then at the end of my
yeah, John, is that the way to explain
No,
bad grades in the first 2 years?
no. What I would say, you might want to say that you maybe weren't as mature as you
Yeah. I either wasn't mature, I probably wasn't ready, should have probably taken a gap year, or I was diverted by extracurriculars. I couldn't balance. I had to learn how to balance my academic work with other interests.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't
then
say
okay.
it's slacking off. Hey,
So,
the
yeah.
other thing that we know that we should make our audience aware of is that he's had to care for his mother, who's been ill for some time, and it's stretched out his college experience and no doubt affected his grades. And I think you need to have that in your conversation with admissions folks.
Yes.
Yeah, well, before you converse with the admissions folks, there's usually a part in the application that says, is often like a box here that says, is there anything you want to add, that we don't know? Or is there, this is not the essay. This is just a box that's usually in the application.
Okay.
So that's the place to put that.
Okay. Yes.
It explains that.
Yeah. And go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Is there any other explanation?
Yeah.
Did your grades go up?
It did go up by the end of my undergrad, and then right now, since I'm finishing up my final course, I'm gonna make that stellar. Yeah, they did go up from 2.5 to, I would say, about close to 3 to consider it. And then right now,
Are you taking courses now?
No. I just have to finish one exam. That should be done. And due to pandemic and all that, it is getting delayed.
So you technically do not have a bachelor's of science degree yet?
No. I would get it as soon as I finish that exam.
Okay. Well, another thing that needs explaining. You see, the trouble is you can only explain so much.
Right.
Even though the things you have to explain are legit.
Yeah.
It's just an issue.
They'll start tuning out after the third explanation.
I'm sorry.
What's that?
I said they'll start tuning out.
Yeah.
I've
often said about weaknesses that they'll blink once but not twice.
Right.
With explanations, they'll listen twice but not 3 times.
Right.
Yeah.
So the explanation where you're blinking is because of the gap that I have over here.
That's one
it's your 2.5, it's your gap, and it's the fact that you haven't graduated with an undergrad yet. 3.
Makes sense. Okay.
They're all small technical things. Well,
I
some of
mean,
them.
wouldn't you advise him to get his degree first and just get that out of the way so there's no question about that before applying?
No, I think they'll buy it, they'll understand it. And, well, depending on, what how it fits into your life roadmap. Uh,
Right.
I wouldn't, if you need to go sooner, then do it sooner.
Okay. Sure.
Okay, let's talk about part-time programs. You're interested in part-time programs.
Yes, part-time is my primary focus right now.
Okay,
Yes.
is your employer going to pay for that?
No, they're not going to
Is
pay
your
for it.
employer going to know about it?
They're just going to know about it. Yes.
Okay,
I've
so
already discussed with the employer.
good. And so your plan is then to keep working at the same place.
Initially, that's my idea right now. Yes, I would like to continue at the same place.
How long does it take to get a part-time degree?
The average is about 2.5 to 3 years.
That's pretty good. Oh, do you go full-time in the summer or something like that?
It's mostly evening classes and weekend classes. But Fuqua has a program. It's like all weekend. Like Ross has like an evening, so we can like switch across.
Yeah. And is it now remote or are they going to meet in person?
At the moment, when I spoke with the students over there, they're remote at the moment, but eventually they would like to start soon.
Yeah. So there's a lot of you got a lot of balls in the air, a lot of issues that nobody
Right.
knows about because of the pandemic.
Correct.
Good.
Now, Sandy, if Gokul was applying to these schools full time, what would be his chances at Chicago, Kellogg, Carnegie Mellon, and Duke?
I actually did that analysis in my own head. What you've got, you'd have to explain the 2.5, the 7, those schools full time. The GMAT scores are like Fuqua 690, Booth 720, Tepper, that's Carnegie Mellon 693, and Kellogg 708. So you're gifting them with a 760 GMAT. Okay,
Right.
that's your dowry.
Yes. Yes.
However, when we remove the veil on the bride and get beyond the dowry and look at your GPA, it's not so attractive.
It is. Yes.
No,
So
you got to understand, you're going to be competing with other software engineers from India, from IITs,
good point. Yeah, and good
Right.
point.
high
The IIT,
GPAs and high GMAT.
you're in a big bucket.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
So that's
my
why
question.
it's probably a good idea for you to go part-time, because I don't believe, and I'll wait for Sandy to tell you, that your chances of getting in on full-time would be very great at all. In fact, they'd be virtually zero.
Okay.
You agree, Sandy?
In part, I think the acceptance rate at these places, Fuqua's 27. I did a little homework here. Fuqua's 27, Booth is 23, Tepper is 26, and Kellogg is 22. It's a matter of what the 760 is worth, and
That's true.
And I believe, what I believe about admissions committees.
A 760 is a wow.
Even they don't talk about it. It's like their secret. They're more in love with a 760 than they would ever admit publicly.
Okay.
For a lot of reasons, both magazine rankings and the fact that these places actually believe that the GMAT's predictive, even if
I mean, I honestly would say that if you were going full-time, I would be suggesting places like Rochester Simon, Minnesota Carlson, Ohio State Fisher, Michigan State Broad, Indiana Kelley.
I would. If you're going full-time, this is just to put it out there. I'd apply to Tepper full-time. I think your chances there would be acceptable.
Okay.
It's an acceptable sort of reach, but it's not a hit, it's not a miracle deal.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think The trouble is there's a lot of guys like you with better, there's a lot of Indian engineers with better
Yeah.
stacks. That's your problem.
Part-time, on the
Yes.
other hand,
Mhm.
I think he's getting into 3 of these 4, maybe.
Yeah, I think part-time's a walk-in. But schools, part-time, schools like part-time because they don't have to get your job, right?
And that
Yeah.
raises the whole other issue because he wants to get the MBA to transition out of software engineering into consulting.
Good point,
Yeah.
John. Is that going to happen?
It's going to be a lot harder to happen from a part-time program, although I will tell you that a Kellogg MBA or Chicago MBA will at least get you in the door at some places like an Accenture or, KPMG, PwC, EY, places like that.
Yeah, but what they'd like about him would be not as a strategy consultant, but as a kind of IT consultant.
Probably.
Yeah, if your goal is to become a strategy consultant, you got a hard road ahead of you. You're competing with a lot of Indian males with more desirable stats, and strategy consulting firms like them young.
Okay.
And he's young, he's 25.
No, I mean young, I mean right out of college.
Oh, okay.
Or yeah, he's 25, but he'll be 28 when he applies to
Yeah.
yeah, so that might be a little old. Strategy consulting firms don't like explanations. Okay, they want the cookie cutter applicant, and you got there's a lot of explaining in your story. I'm not saying it's your fault or whatever. I'm just telling you that's what you're facing.
Okay.
So there you go. I think you need to weigh the difficulties of getting into consulting with a part-time MBA versus a full-time MBA. And before you enroll in any of these places, you need to sit down with the career management people and ask them, can you do this? Can you achieve your goal?
Okay. Sure.
You know, let me tell you someone you should look at right now is like a headhunter. If the way you do, here's the way you're going to become a strategy consultant. I'd like John's view on this. You're going to join these firms in a technical capacity and then wag your tail real hard and transfer into the strategy part.
Right.
In other words, you'll join a leading consulting firm in an IT capacity. You'll be put on a team, and then that team will be your place to shine. And you do great work. You gain a supporter in the team head, and then you gradually shift over into
Totally
strategy.
agree.
Yeah, I don't think you need business school, quite frankly.
Okay.
Although if you, well, I don't know, if you want the experience, if you want the degree, sure, but
you know, given UT Austin, they have a part-time program, and I think that could be a very good bet for you, being in the Austin area with your skills. I know you can work remotely for your startup in Connecticut, so you can pretty much be anywhere. But to be in Austin right now probably would be a good bet for you.
Okay.
That's a good point, John. Let me just add, it's very hard to start at a company remotely if you don't know anybody. I mean, it happens, but you don't get a chance to network or schmooze or.
Yeah.
It's just hard, but that's the world we're living in. It's just unfortunate.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I repeat, you don't need no stinking MBA. Go to a headhunter.
Okay.
Well, you don't have to say this, but go to a headhunter. See what they say. I'd be very interested in what a headhunter tells you.
Okay, sure.
And if you want to go part-time, we think you're going to get in, but we think there could be issues about transitioning into consulting from there. I think you can
Okay.
do it. It's just going to be a little more work.
Than a traditional. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Well, good luck to you.
Sorry for the hard facts here, but that's what you're facing. Okay, you got a lot going for you, including a
Okay.
760
Yeah, don't be discouraged.
career, but
The 2.5 is rough, but you got a great GMAT score. You're doing
Right.
hard work. You got a shot in these part-time programs, and you have a shot in some full-time programs if you go for that.
Right. Yes.
okay, let me
I just
just
have to
add
explain my
one thing
story.
of general advice. In the materials you sent us, which is
Mhm.
kind of like a rough resume,
Mhm.
you listed your experience, you listed your current employer,
Mhm.
which is a startup, okay? You need
Right.
to explain that in the resume.
Oh,
You
it's
know,
just okay.
X company, a startup based on this, and then you have to say supported by these venture capital firms employing. You have to
Mhm.
create the bona fides of the startup.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody could say they work for a startup.
And you want to say you
Yes.
joined when there were you were among the first 5 employees, and now the firm employs 250, whatever.
That's a great
Yes.
point, John. So you've
Yeah.
been through the whole cycle.
Yeah.
I've
That's
been.
very
Yes.
impressive. And you've grown with
Okay.
the company.
I have. Yes.
That employment thing is all they care about.
Okay.
Well, I take it back. The fact you could work at Cigna, Cigna's a big company. Everyone's heard of it. How come
Mhm.
you were only there for such a short time?
It was a 6-month contract, and the contract ended, and I was also honestly looking for something that is much more, where I can learn more and put my skills to test at. And then butterfly opportunity did come into an option at that point, and then I did shift at the end of the contracting term.
Good. Yeah. So that's also worth explaining, because the fact that you could fight your way out of there
Mhm.
is good.
And
You
that
just
this
got
raises another point, because when you look at his resume, he has Cigna and then he has Travelers, when in fact he
Mhm.
was at an outsourcing firm and did work for those 2 firms exclusively. So you need to
Correct.
really name the outsourcing firm, and then you say you had 2 contract assignments, and then say what you did at these companies. I think that cleans up the resume a lot, and it cleans up a
right.
lot of questions.
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense. I'll do that.
Okay.
All right. Hey, good
Adios.
luck to you. And for
Thank you.
all of you out there, good luck on your MBA journey. This is John Byrne with Poets and Quants. You've been watching Fridays with Sandy.